everybody, my name is James Feeney. Welcome to or back to my channel. Today we have reached the end of yet another month, a short one, February, and I guess this is now becoming a bit of a tradition, well, my second one, and I thought I would share my favorites. It's a good way for me to reflect on the things I've really loved and been using this month. It's nice to document my preferences and almost phases, things that I'm interested in, and I think it might be interesting. I like to watch them and it turns me on to some fun new things. So it's a lighthearted video. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and we will get right into my favorite things. So first we will start with decks. There are not that many actually. I'll pull them on up. Well, we'll start with these two, okay. So first we'll start with the Moon deck, Oracle Cards and Guidebook by written by Arona Leah, illustrated by Andrea K. This is it. I believe it's an indie deck. I could be wrong. It was a gift. So I know that there's a website for this, and I think that's where you would acquire it. It's a nice rose petal-y finished box. And, well, I just filmed all of my Oracle collection, so you can actually find it there. It has a nice chunky guidebook, and these cards, which are, all of this was made with a sort of environmental consciousness or awareness in terms of the paper used and the ink. There's diversity in the cards with body types, ages, races, ethnicities, cultures, backgrounds. So that's a wonderful aspect. It's very feminine in nature, which is nice, especially with my work with the Divine Feminine. And I will get to the Thoth deck in a bit, but I feel like the masculine energies of the Thoth are well balanced, or I balance them partially with this. And part of how I use this, it is very affirmation style, and I like the rituals. There's a ritual for each card, and some are quite magical and mystical, others aren't, but they are all helpful in some way. They can all apply to you at some point. They do tend to be very poignant in what you might need at a given time. I've gotten the rest card, or essentially the meaning is to get some rest for better functioning, so that's been really applicable and a nice reminder to take things easy and not overexert myself. So this has been one I've been loving a lot as almost a self-help item, and it's very nurturing and fun, and there's the lunar aspect to it, although I don't tie what I do with it to the moon cycles necessarily. Next we have the Orosoma Tarot. Comes in this pouch. I know people that got it a while ago or longer in the past. It comes in a nice box, but mine came in a pouch. And I've been using it. It feels like it goes very well with the Moon deck or the Moon Oracle, and the artwork is somewhat similar. It's a big chunky deck, so actually I'll take a half of it to show you guys some images. I'm sure you guys have seen this or you might know of it. I've mentioned it before. So if you've seen my videos, there's that. Something about it feels very spiritually minded, so I look to it for guidance in that aspect, along with the Divine Feminine, balancing energies. Something about this feels really adept in addressing dualities or parts of the self that maybe aren't aligned or unified. So I like to look to this for guidance and perspective. So that's that one. Really been enjoying it. I've been using it for a few months now, and it's been a solid favorite throughout that time. So that's nice. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the last one, so it'll be interesting for me to go back and check to see if this was in the last favorites. It might be. So yeah, the Orosoma Tarot. And next, and this will transition us into a new category, I guess. I have this Constellation Bag, which is really nice. I use this as almost like a really condensed tarot kit for going out and doing readings in the shop or events. I read in a shop, but I've been doing more events lately, so this has been really nice, and I'll kind of give you guys a run through because all of the things in it are a favorite. So I got this at Barnes & Noble's, I think it was, and it just has various constellations. It's a nice rough fabric. It's really durable, has just like a little string and a zipper. It's a nice size, almost like a pencil case. Inside I keep a really nice little notebook where I somehow just found this notebook, but I just will write little notes to myself or things along the way if I feel like I need them. This one is not one where I rip things out, so it's more just for myself if I have anything to reflect on, and it's usually reading related. And then I keep in a little plastic bag my business cards and also some stickers, because the stickers are pretty thin as well. So this is a nice way to carry them. I really need to maybe invest in a business card, not a wallet, but I keep some in my wallet, but in one of those cases for them. But I keep some in my wallet, I keep some in here, and usually when it would be applicable, I have reading cards. I mean, not reading cards, business cards when I'm doing readings, and then when else I have them in my wallet to hand out. And then I also will keep, well, we'll get to that part, and then I'll keep a pen or two in there for writing purposes. And then I keep wrapped up, so I have the reading cloth here. The reading cloth is a favorite. It's a decently large one. It's thick, and I think, well, it's quite thick, yeah. And it's nice. It's a really nice fabric. It doesn't wrinkle, it's heavy, it doesn't bunch up, it doesn't stick to the cards. It's black and it absorbs a lot of just mess. Water runs off of it. It's awesome. So I will fold this bag, which also came with the cloth, inside of the cloth. Like, I'll take the deck is in the bag, and I'll fold them together in this really compact way so that they'll fit in the bag with everything. And then this is the bag that came with the cloth. Both of these I got on Amazon. I'm not really fussed about tarot cloths. This is probably one of my nicer ones, or if not the nicest one. A lot of them have been really cheap fabric squares, and this one's a nicer quality. And then I got it, and it came with this, and they're by, I think it's called Blessume on Amazon, Blessume, in all caps, and they have this in different color tones. There's a more wine-colored one. I know there's a dark blue one. And I've really been enjoying them. They're really good quality, thick and durable. And then inside of that comes our last deck that's a favorite, and it's the Thoth deck, which this is really the only... I mentioned the other two because I used them a bit this month, but this is pretty much the only deck I use this month. For readings for others, I do reversals with this deck, so they're going to be all sorts of ways. And I guess we have a lot of upside down cards right out the gate. But I've been using it for clients and for myself, and it's really the one that I use on a daily basis and for others. So it is a staple and favorite, and my studies have been going really well there. I feel like I'm making a lot of progress, and it's nice, and I really enjoy the Thoth deck. And it's nice that I have those other two decks to balance the energies out, because it does have a very masculine feel to it. It's something that I find to be a really great reader. There's a lot of complexity, there's a lot to uncover and to study, and I enjoy that aspect. But those decks that I mentioned earlier, the Orosoma and the Moon Oracle, they are more feminine in nature or feeling to me, so it's nice and balancing, and I feel like I'm not going too far in either direction, especially in a year where I'm trying to allocate time toward divine feminine and sacred feminine journey or work. So I like to find that balance and strike that balance. Now that we've shown the little journal that goes in the bag, we will get into just, I guess, journals. So this is another small journal, and I keep this on my sacred feminine or divine feminine smaller altar, where I don't really do a lot of workings, but I work with the Sheila Dog Egg, and when I am doing workings with her, or sometimes I'll have times where there's a dialogue, so I would put notes that pertain to her, dialogue, messages. Sometimes I'll even do and pull tarot cards where it is designed to give me the message that she is intending for me. So I leave this there, and there are a lot of times when the extent of the work that I do has to do with meditation or speaking to her, and then potentially receiving messages or writing down my thoughts and things that appear in my mind. So I record all that in this, and it sits on that altar. So this has been a favorite. I've been trying to be better with journaling this month. If you can't tell, there's two more journals. I wouldn't say that either of them have a ton written in them, or that I'm constantly writing in them, but I have to the point where it's more than I usually would. So next we have just my generic journal. I don't know what to call this. It might be like not quite a book of shadows or a book of reflections. Maybe it is. I write pretty much on anything, but it is very tarot, more magically minded. It's like my spiritual path and progression, my realizations, things to do with reality and consciousness and being, and thoughts about existence and magic and tarot. So it's all in here. There are tarot readings in here as well. So this is kind of a multi-purpose one that I use for a lot of things, and I don't feel much pressure or like there needs to be structure. I can just write whatever I want. I will just write the date and start writing. Sometimes I draw pictures, so it's very unstructured and messy, but I've been using it a lot more lately, and I'm trying to get into the habit of using it at least once a week, but I've been using it maybe a little bit more than that even, so that's nice. And then we have, and I haven't opened these just because they feel a bit private, and I don't believe that I will share them. Well, this last one I will share, I think, eventually, but those ones I don't intend to publicly share, or at least if I do, it'll be very select portions that I feel comfortable sharing. So this is my thought notebook, and this one isn't one where I just freehand and write lackadaisically. This is one that I've been taking and designing in a way. So I intend to have a page for every card at least, or a section for each card where I take from different books along with my own experiential knowledge of the cards and things that I find and feel about the cards. So it's going to be almost my own thought guidebook or reference book. It's also helping to reinforce my definitions and meanings and connections to all of the cards. And I'm designing each page with cutouts and print papers and different shapes and stickers, and so the layouts are very different, and there's colors, and it's really cool. It's been a nice experience. It's taking a really long time, but I think this month I've made the most progress, and I can see myself sharing maybe a portion of it in the near future. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, but it's been nice to work on it. It's really just for myself, but it is turning out to look decently nice, and I'm not proud. Yeah, I am proud of my work in this, so I might share it. So let me know if that's something that sounds appealing for you guys. So next we will jump into, we'll do books. Okay. So, where do we start? We will start with, well, I've mentioned this guy on a lot of, mentioned it on my Instagram, and I mentioned it in my reference book video will have come out, so it's a reference book. Although this is more of a recent astrology read for me, it's not like I've read it so long ago. It is definitely, oh wow, we're getting glare from that light. It's a favorite of the month, and it's one that I used and finished this month and read this month, so it is a definite favorite, and I will almost mention it in, well, I think that, okay, I'm getting all mixed up. I think that I like this book a lot for beginners. I think that it is great for reference as well. There's a lot in here to go on. It's conversational. Her tone is nice. I think that the way that she speaks and the way that she feels about tarot in this passionate sense that's also spiritually minded. So a lot of the way that she speaks about spirituality, it seems very vague. She likes to use the terms God and angel, and I think that the way that she's speaking isn't so literal in a Christian or Catholic lens or view. I think she means, or speaking on these terms in a broader sense. So I don't mind the titles being used because it doesn't feel so literal. But the way that she speaks about lifetimes and the soul and paths and karma and all of that, it feels very much aligned with things that I'm interested in and potentially investigating or might believe, or my beliefs are always shifting and being informed, but as it currently stands, this one feels really like it jives with where I'm at. So that's part of why I like it, but I think it's great for beginners, and if you're very spiritually minded in terms of astrology and looking for something in that regard, but is also kind of a primer, this is a good one. And I keep going back to it, and of course when you're studying astrology, reference is important. So I will mention this one next, and I'm going to connect the two, I think. But this is one that just jumped into my life 3 days ago, and I blew right through it. Let's see how we can do this. Okay. It's called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton, Case Studies of Life Between Lives. I think this is a relatively popular book. I could be wrong. I didn't do much research, but it seems like it came up a lot of places, and I saw it in a Barnes & Noble, so that's, yeah. Essentially, I really just kind of fell into this book out of pure interest and intrigue, and the basis of it is, well, Dr. Michael Newton's case studies. He is I'm trying to think. He's I believe a psychologist, and he's started as a behavioral therapist, if I'm not mistaken, and specialized in hypnotherapy for the purpose of benefiting his clients in life. And a lot of what behavioral therapy is in terms of associating better and positive emotions with different habits and curbing habits, and it's all about connecting certain actions to emotions and things like that. I'm not certified, or I don't know much about those things, and that's not really the purpose of this book, but in that he discovered that he was tapping into his clients' past lives unintentionally, so he did work there, if you believe in these things, that is. And I'm somebody who's open to a lot, so I'm speaking on this, and my beliefs are fluid, and I'm just open to the possibilities. But so he would see and talk about people's past lives, so that turned him onto that. He was a skeptic and got into that, and then by chance he almost fell into talking about where a soul goes when it is not incarnated in a form. And so a lot of this book speaks on that. It's actually very technical, and he looks for answers for existence and a soul's path and progression and what happens and different steps and things that go on when we aren't in a body. And it's really, really interesting, and the case studies are in it. It's his writing summarizing different points, but he uses, I believe, 29 distinct cases where it's a transcription, and it's so fascinating, and it's not a quick read. I mean, it's not a large book either, but it's about 275 pages or so, and I blew right through it, and I love it. So these two, I think, as far as their belief systems go, with a soul's journey and incarnations and past lives and progressing that way, they're very well aligned and fit within the same sort of paradigm. So maybe it's just that I'm in a stage where these things interest me, but they click together very well. So if you're looking to study astrology and this is interesting, these two pair very well together, in my opinion. I'm able to reconcile them very well. So, definite favorites. And then the final book we have is the Sheila Dog Egg, The Dark Goddess of Sacred Power by Stargood. I believe I mentioned this one at some point, somewhere. So I haven't actually finished this book, but it's a favorite in just that I've been reading it and trying to actually really get into my work with the Sheila Dog Egg. So yeah, I've been reading it. It's very fascinating. And the more that I read, the more fascinated I am by her as a goddess or an entity. And I choose to see her as more of a goddess energy or being. So I don't have so much to necessarily dig into and say, because there's just a lot here. And it's actually funny that a lot of what surrounds the lore surrounding the Sheila Dog Egg is all opinion, or not opinion, but educated and informed ideas. There's not a lot, oops, sorry, low battery again. There's not a lot that's informed and can be proven, and it's hard to really pin things down, so there are a lot of different opinions on various things. So for me to try to communicate what this is about, it's really just about the idea of the Sheila Dog Egg and digging into that in all of its aspects and facets. And so it's really interesting. If she sounds like an entity or a topic that is interesting to you, I recommend this one highly. There are a lot of pictures as well, and interesting parallels drawn and connections, and it's not really as biased, which is nice. They factor in a lot of different opinions from different people and cite them, which I like. So yeah, a really great one. Next we will do candles. So we'll start with this one. This is by Harmonia. It's a good luck gem candle with soy wax with opium and green aventurine. How do we not have glare? I mean, it's not that important to be able to see exactly what it looks like, but so yes, this one smells really great. There are chunks of green aventurine in there, and I've been burning it, and I burned it when I was doing readings and at an event, and it smells wonderful. I don't know how to really describe why a candle would be your favorite other than just like the scent and the atmosphere it creates, which is difficult to describe, but I think that the scent is a bit deep and heavy and not quite musky, but it's not one of those fresh and light scents. It's also not overpowering. I don't like candles that are extremely strongly scented, like what you might get at Bath and Body Works. Those don't appeal to me. So this one is great, and it's for good luck, and I think that just the mindset it even inspires in me when I light it feels good and gets me going. So I've been using this when I do readings for others, and I'm really enjoying it. And I tend to like to light these candles with matches. I think something about using a match and the smell that a match creates and that ignition feels really good. So when I have matches on hand, I do actually like to use matches. So matches are a favorite as well. Be careful with them. So next we have, and I may have mentioned this, and I know it's in a picture on Instagram, and it's called, well, the actual candle is called, wow, there's a lot. We're gonna get rid of that light a little bit, maybe. It's it says Dawn. It just looks very esoteric. It almost reminded me of a tarot card in some way, and it's handcrafted by Herland Home. Oh my god, this light, Jesus. So my sister got this for me as a gift when she was out, and I have the dawn one and she has the dusk one, so that's pretty funny, and it's nice of her to have gotten that for me, and it's exactly the kind of scent I like. A bit heavier and natural, but not overpowering, and so yeah, another favorite and one that I'll light for readings, and also I just keep it on my altar, and sometimes I'll light it in the morning as I'm going about my morning things, getting dressed and getting ready for the day. So yeah, it's nice. And next we will do, this one's a funny one. This is just a little thing that my mom brought me from, well, I don't even know where she went, but she saw it in a shop, and it supposedly is, it's supposed to look like an eye, like an evil eye, to ward off negativity, and my mom knows that, well, she knows about tarot and my craft and all of these different things, so it was really nice of her to think of me in that way. And it's kind of just all bedazzled, and so that's the eye part, and then I was like, what's this part? And she didn't even know, but I guess it's a tape measure. So kind of an odd tool or combo we have going on here, and then you press the little button back here to get it to come on back. But it was just nice of her to think of me, and I think it looks really cool, and it was sweet, so that's a favorite for me. And then we're almost done, guys, and then we have these. So I have this one, and it is like a tincture in a way, or an herbal almost supplement. So this is by Moonshine, Herbal Apothecary, Hit the Hay, Sleep Support, Passion Flower, and Kava. This light is really killing anything I want to show you guys, which is annoying. I don't know how clear that was, but it's nice. I've been enjoying it and using it. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it. I'm featuring it here as a favorite because I don't think I dislike it, and I have been using it a lot this month. I think that I haven't necessarily noticed too much of a difference in my sleep quality or extent of my sleep. I'm someone who is a very light sleeper, and I usually wake up for long spans in the night very often, and a few times each night where I'm awake for a while. And so I can't say necessarily that I've seen a distinct difference from this. I do, for some reason, I think I have maybe more vivid or like wild dreams when I take this. So that's something, I suppose, but it's been interesting, and I don't mind it, and it doesn't exactly taste good, but it makes you feel like you're doing something to further or better your sleep, so I'll call it a favorite, but I'm just featuring it here to let you guys know. It's something I used a lot this month. Next, we have Sandalwood. Oh, it's gonna focus. I don't know how you'll see this, but Sandalwood Essential Oil. At the shop that I read at, there's this scanner that you can do where you put your hand on and it measures certain vital levels, temperature, your pulse, heat, all this other stuff, and it lets you know when certain things are out of alignment in terms of, I'm not exactly sure how it actually functions, and I should look into that more, but I thought it would be fun to do, and it lets you know what certain oils might bring certain things that fall out of alignment back into alignment, and the biggest one for me was sandalwood. and it essentially said it would bring about 3/4 of the things that were out of alignment into alignment. I like the smell of sandalwood, so I have incense, but I picked up the essential oil, and I'll put a little bit on, and I have been liking it for the scent at least, and time will tell if it brings these things that are out of alignment back into alignment, but I've really just been enjoying the scent and putting some on my wrists or like around just like this area or here, so I just put it kind of on. I think I tend to do it around bedtime just because it feels right, and it's really relaxing oil and scent, so yeah, sandalwood oil. And then we'll finish, okay, really quick. I've just really been liking these colored pens. Don't even know the brand. I got them at Target, and there was like a sticker on them that said the brand, but the sticker came off really easily. Oh, it might say it on the actual pen. So you get a bunch of colors. They're really nice. It's by Stadler Tri-Plus Roller. It's gonna show up. I'm not sure. But they've been really great for journaling and different things. They're almost like a gel pen in that they write really, really fine and narrow when you're moving quickly. But if you take your time and you hold it, the line becomes very thick. So I like that there's a versatility in the line thickness that you get, and you can kind of have that jelly pen aspect or that really fine tip pen depending on what you want. And the colors are really vibrant and they show up very well, so I've been enjoying them. A little bit random, but with the journaling comes pens. And finally, where I would say put the tarot pouch, the really small one. This is if like I really needed to condense and I just needed a very small thing, but for the most part I would put it within one of my totes. So I guess in some way this is a self-promo, so here you go, and no shame in that. This is with my logo, Lemniscate Logic. It says "We Are Infinite" and it has my website down here, but it's made of really good material, the company that I use, and I've just been enjoying putting things in here. So I'll put the tarot stuff in there. I'm always bringing this to readings and events and when I do readings, and I have a folder where I keep my various spreads and a rundown of the types of readings I do and different information clients might want to look at. So I keep a folder of that, and I'll sometimes throw snacks and various things in here that I might need throughout the day. So it holds a lot, and it's nice, and it's a favorite. So that essentially covers my favorites, guys. There was more than I expected, actually, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought about that, and I will be curious to watch other favorites videos if anyone watching here now, whenever you're watching this, if you have a favorites video, I would like to see it as well, and if I'm subscribed to you, I'm sure I will. So yeah, that sums it up. Let me know what you thought, and oh yeah, like and subscribe, all that good jazz, and until next time, bye guys.